As usual, I'm not in the mood to make a video, but I'm making it anyway. So I just had a conversation with someone who demonstrated telepathy twice in 2 minutes, and it was undoubted, and I even have the timestamp messages. I was talking to somebody about something, and at the same time someone else was messaging me about that same thing. And if it was a cutout or someone like planted to do so, it wouldn't have been done in that way. I know, because I wouldn't have done it that way. So the 144,000, I don't know who brought it up. I just don't remember. My memory is funny. But after it was brought up, I said, yeah, I'm the leader of the 144,000. And he was like, what are, I've heard of them, what do they do? And I said, they're just the people that God's choosing, basically. Like, I don't know why or how. Stubbornness seems to be a recurring trait. Idealism, the traits of what God would look for in a warrior. And yeah, one of my names, the first name that I remembered when I made my magic square that I used to teach Dan Brown, the Thoth magic square. That's when I realized I was Thoth. And I remember leaving Atlantis and either going directly, just the direction that I remember going, and there were like 4 or 5, maybe up to 7 teachers who fanned out from there, from Atlantis. And it's a very vague memory. That was a while ago. But yeah, my credentials as Thoth are the lost symbol. And it's funny, of all the things I say, I can say I'm Yeshua and Ningazita, and the hang up that someone had recently was me being Dan Brown's teacher. I realize that he's a celebrity now, but when I met him in 1993, he had just returned from Hollywood, was a failed musician, not failed, but he failed in Hollywood, moved back to town here, or a town nearby. We've always lived 10 miles apart, Dan and I. We're the best of friends. I taught him in 1999 or early 2000. I don't remember when exactly. And that night he started writing the Da Vinci Code and the Lost Symbol at the same time. So if that's what you find unbelievable, you may notice that nobody disputes that anymore. Like in the comments, that just like goes, like people just know that by now. So if you're new to me, then that might sound surprising, but it's old news to me. I've dealt with it in almost every single way that I can, except for suing him, and that's drama, and I don't like drama. So if you want to play games and dispute, then you can watch the Who Am I video and go through my posts for the last 5 years where I've proven everything to the satisfaction of everyone that I knew at the time, and it'll be good enough for you too. So people are afraid of angels. Oh yeah, so what's the point of the 144,000? It depends. I mean, most importantly, we're supposed to wake people up, and not wake them up like make them woke, like so that they become conspiracy theorists, and like, I mean, I'm the leader, so if 144,000 people were on a regular basis sharing my videos, like, that are pretty educational, I think that we could change the world pretty quickly. I know for a fact. Billions of people have already read my ideas in those books, both with and against my will in those books. So reaching people is not hard if people, Dan got rich doing it. I'm not now. I'm not getting paid anything at all. So if you want something from me to do whatever you think I'm asking you to do, then you're pretty much barking up the wrong tree. Hey Steph, Michelle, Tyson, Mike, and Mary. How's it going? Yeah, so that's the deal with that. That's just the fact. I'm the leader. If anyone wants to challenge my leadership and thinks they have better qualifications to be the leader, they're welcome to do so. I'm right here. So people are afraid of angels, apparently. People talk about fallen angels, and they say ETs are fallen angels. There's a lot of fear spirituality out there that's like, oh, the dark goo in the supercomputers. And I'm like, yeah, I'm familiar with those computers, and that's very advanced technology and science, but I'm not going to declare myself a spiritual warrior while preaching about the dark goo and the supercomputers, and because that's just empowering the dark, and I want to kill the evil, bury the evil 20 feet underground. So dude asks, what's your core belief? Well, in case I haven't been clear, I would like to kill the evil and wherever it's residing within, and bury it in the ground. Quickly or slowly, depends, but it needs to die. They need to die. The human traffickers, the people that are doing these horrific things to children, and I don't even care if they're cloning the kids and then saying that they're property. These evil people need to die. I want to see them dead. You want to know my core belief? They need to die. So people talk about fallen angels and angels. Like, most people never read the Bible. I went to church for 20 years, taught Dan about Jesus, had the lost symbol written about me, and further plagiarizings and mischaracterizations. And I read Gospel of Mary, St. Thomas, the questionable Emerald Tablets of Thoth, which I think were made with good intentions, but I don't think that they actually existed. I think that it's in a metaphor. But I know that between 1973 and 1977 or 78, they did rituals to have Thoth come back. And I was born on 9/27, which is the last day of the Thoth calendar section of Egyptian royal astrology. And the first calendar with the leap year was the Thoth calendar. My older daughter was born on leap year, first baby born in the state in the year 2000. So I'm Thoth, and I'm the leader, and if you want to challenge me, then do it. So, but why people don't read the Bible, but when bad things have to happen or important things, God sends angels. So yeah, I suppose if you're evil, you should fear angels. But what I see in the evil people of the world isn't fallen angelness. Now you can say they're disembodied and they do stuff, and maybe, you know, that they don't have any permanent residence, and maybe I'd buy that. Maybe not. I've never heard it communicated that intelligently. I just hear it communicated with idiocy, that the ET are fallen angels, and but these same people, basically everyone, they never talk about angels, like, you know, and that just boggles my mind. It makes me think that they don't have any faith in God, and therefore they're godless. So when they talk about the fallen angels and the black goo and call themselves spiritual warriors, they're really just representing the dark side. And I'm not impressed with that at all. And I tell them, I'm like, you're empowering darkness. No, like, no, I am teaching the world about the darkness. Well, I could get into great detail about the human trafficking and the atrocious things that that some people are doing, but then I'm bringing you down. You know, like, it's horrible stuff. So why would I do that? I wouldn't get into detail about those things, because I don't want to, you know, they're not worth being mentioned. Like, they thrive on being hated. You know, they know they're evil. They know that we know they're evil. So to, like, call them out by name, that would, like, give them satisfaction. That would give them power, because they feed on that. So spiritual warriors who are like, what they do is talk about the darkness, like they're enlightening people about the dark. No, they're darkening people. And they feel powerful in doing that. And I called the dude out for that a couple days ago. And I hope he watches this, but he won't, because whether or not he knows it, he's a spiritual warrior for the dark side, and that is what fallen angels would do. They would talk about the evil, and they would give the evil power. You know? And I just say, I want to kill it. You know? Like, you know, I'll tell you what evil acts are. They're worthy of death, dragon law. And I'll do that over and over again, because I'm right. And I know millions of people are behind me on it. More than millions. I know what's up. So angels, fallen angels, I don't know. As far as the ET and, you know, the spectrums and the dimensions, I talked about it in my other videos, and you guys who know about broken toys are all the people that have been destroyed when their life was too young, and they were destroyed by a system that is built on corruption. They were discarded, and they needed homes and purposes and redemption and vengeance. And vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Let the children, whatever they said about the children, that's what they do. And you don't even want me to get started talking about that. But the dimensions and all that stuff's getting straightened out. The people that are doing evil, that are consuming evil, consuming innocence in the name of evil, that's poison now. They're being poisoned by their own ill actions. And the justifications that they have, I know every justification that they have, and it's fallen on deaf ears, because what they wanted to happen has happened. I'm here. Everybody's here now. So we talked about telepathy already a little bit here. I did. And I did with a guy earlier I told you about. I don't know if I really have anything to say about that. it's important that it's done. You know, a lot of things are about consent. And if people had like discretion in what they do with their personal life, and they didn't feel a need to like parade it around, then nobody would care. We wouldn't be legislating people's lifestyles if they just like stuck to doing their personal stuff in personal situations in like the bedroom between consulting adults. Like, nobody cares. But you parade it down my road and I'm going to tell you you're disgusting, you know, because that's disgusting, you know. Like if I put on chaps, you know, and like, I don't know, drank a 20-pack of beer a day for like 6 months to get as grotesque as I could, and, you know, had a nice hairy belly, you know, and like, you know, just was as disgusting as possible and rubbed it in your face in a parade, you wouldn't like me either. And I wouldn't blame you, you know, but that would be the point. I would be trying to make you hate me so that you would hate me, and then I could say that you're a bigot, you know. So social justice, you know, talk about just communities, just being decent, just normal stuff. You know, this isn't rocket science. This is not rocket science. I don't know if you guys are like angry about that or not, but you can have all the social justice you want, just don't throw it in my face. I'm a sanguine vampire at times. You know, I've drank blood in my life. Do you want them to teach that to your kids in school? What? Do you? Fuck no, you don't. It's not anybody's business. That's consulting adults in a bedroom. It's the same thing with anything else that's not typical, you know, as God intended, sex for reproduction and enjoying your body. Anything abnormal does not need to be included in your child's curriculum. I have no idea what all these things are saying. I love these emojis like, you're making me feel this. Like, I have no idea what you're feeling. You're shocked, you're angry, and you like it. You know, like these emojis. It's like the symbols on the pyramids, like in the, you know, the emojis on your phone. Like, that's what we're being reduced to. Nobody prints out pictures anymore. Everybody's got them in their phone. So when Wi-Fi electricity goes down, they throw an EMP. All your pictures disappear in your phone. People are like covering the generator, you know, at their doomsday campsite so they can charge their phone and look at their pictures. And they're going to wish they printed them out when there's nothing left. Oh yeah, I said something about the end is near, right? And so you guys who saw my Easter videos, and I don't care if I've offended you. If I'm offended you, then you're like weak. You know, you're weak. I get insulted and threatened for years, and you know, like, seriously, right is right and wrong is wrong, and evil needs to die. You know, I don't care what you do. I don't care what your sexuality is. I don't care what you do. You can do what you want. You know, there's no such thing as a utopia. There's no circumstance under which everyone is happy unless people know how to mind their business. You use some discretion. It's not complicated. But the planets showed up in a video I posted on the day before, on the Saturday. Somebody else posted it, and I shared it on the Saturday before the Orthodox Easter, which was the 8th, so I guess it was on the 7th. And the Hebrew, I think that's the right word, the Hebrew religion, language, interpretations say that with those 7 planets comes a Messiah, and they want a warrior Messiah, the Lord of War. Nice to meet you. The Christians want this Jesus guy, but I don't think we're going to be seeing anyone like that for a while, because somebody's got to do all the hard work first. Yeshua, yeah, I guess I'm Yeshua, but I don't know who he is. I don't even want to know. And I don't want to know any more than I know about like what the books say, because I want to be, things need to happen organically. You know how bad it is that there are people, like, that's why I'm here. If they weren't trying to fulfill the scriptures, if they didn't write the scriptures so they could fulfill them when they wanted to, then half the things that are going on right now wouldn't be happening. They're fulfilling prophecies intentionally, and that's not organic. That's contrived, you know, and that goes against the discretion and the privacy that if everyone followed that, then we could like remove 80% of our laws just by having communities with decency and respect. Yeah, balance must be sought. Exactly. And that's, you know, I'm a reaction. I'm God's reaction. I'm God's reaction to restore balance. You know, there's nobody in America that's been crapped on more than white men in the last 50 years. You can pull up all the statistics you want, and I hope you do if you want to dispute it. So the fact that I'm white, you know, I'm only partially white, as you know, but I am Irish Welsh. But the Irish never invaded anybody. Watch the siege of Jabbetsville. We don't mess with people, but we don't fight to wound either. You make the Irish fight, and it's bad time. So the Welsh Dragon, we're quiet peoples that you don't mess with, and that's why you don't hear about us, because we don't mess with people. But if you mess with us, you're having a bad day. So the end is near. I got abducted twice in the last, since the Friday before Easter, regular Easter, not Orthodox Easter. And I don't even know the difference. I just did the Easter ritual for both because I'm a glutton for punishment. And I really thought I might not live through the second one. I'm serious. I'm being completely honest. I thought that it was possible I was going to die. I had no idea it was going to happen on the 8th. I had no idea. But it was just a few days ago, and I didn't even know what I could say, because I know so many things and I'm given so much information from so many sources on and off Earth, in and out of this dimension and on other planets and God, that like it got to the point where everything I said was riddles, because if you weren't willing to willingly read between the lines and know what I was saying, which I knew you knew because I'm good at it, then there was no point. I couldn't be any more clear, because because of my security clearance, at least in the God realm, I didn't know what I could say. But so anyway, during that abduction, I was on a helicopter, and I was shown a bunch of pictures, and every picture that they tapped on, or I tapped on, or they were tapping on them, everyone was talking. Every picture was saying something. Literally, like they were speaking words. And it must have been me pushing the buttons, because I wasn't listening to what they were saying, and I pushed too many. Like, you know, like one would start talking, and then another one would start talking, and I tapped a bunch of pictures, and they were all talking at once, but I guess they each just said a few words, and so I heard that all at once, whatever it was, and then I tapped a couple more, and they said something, and then I'm on the floor of the helicopter, and there's a boot on my head, and I'm thinking, okay, I just need to stay still. Right? I was going to stay still, it's okay. and then the boot was pushing harder and harder and harder on my head. And I don't want to get into graphic details, but then I felt mildly threatened for a moment, and they said the end is near. And I was back in my bed, and I watched them leave, and their technology is beyond infinitely more advanced than at least anything that the public is shown in any way, shape, or form. Bar, like just so far advanced. But we are talking about God who made the world. And he can do what he wants with it. But usually after, I don't know, if people are wondering if they've ever been abducted, I would say that the two biggest signs are thirst and being thirsty and hungry after, like you just like expended a ton of energy, and that's like how I would say that you can be pretty sure that that's more sure. If you're not sure what happened, I'd say that's pretty likely. The biggest thing just, there's so much I could say here. The biggest thing that God wants people to know is that their prayers are really weak. And if you're sitting there saying, my prayers aren't weak, no, they're not. Yes, they are. You're lying to yourself and me via telepathy, and you and I both know you're lying. Not too many people are sticking around to hear this. But yeah, the world's in really bad shape right now. And God is a friend. The goddess is a friend. They're very real. I've met them. I met them on October 20th. I got abducted on the 22nd. I was in the ER on the 23rd when the video was leaked of the Nimitz UFO, which was God initially taking form. And I photographed the plane and the craft, and if you look at my profile picture, you'll see what I'm talking about. And that exact shape of the head is in ancient carvings of God. God is older than your puny human religions. Religions are an atrocity. I would say that religions in the monetary system have become so corrupted by men, and I'm not blaming God for this, or even the initial intent. Religions were regional, but it's easier to control 2 than 3, 3 than 4, and 4 than 20. So with religions, they chose 3 to push on everyone and to, stomp the world into submission with 3 religions, 3 main religions. They did. It's a fact. And that's why Easter, which has nothing to do with Christianity, well, they made it into the resurrection of Christ, but it's Ishtar, which is pronounced Easter, spelled Ishtar, the fertility goddess. So that's why I did rituals sacrificing myself for her on Easter. But that's not, that's how they conquered all the different tribes and absorbed all the religions. That's how they did it. It'd be like, well, now that we killed all your men of fighting age in these ridiculous wars, your consolation prize is that although we're going to rewrite your history in a way that suits us, we're going to take one of your holidays and incorporate it into Christianity. And that's where you get Ishtar. Easter. That's where you get Ishtar, the fertility goddess. And it's important, since I helped bring the divine feminine to the world with the Da Vinci Code and horrify the world with my spiritualness and the lost symbol, and showed you a little taste of my wrath and inferno. Now we're getting to the origins. Maybe Dan Brown is a prophet. Maybe I did agree to this with him before I was born. He's had a rough run of it too, you know. He's had a, celebrities and rich people, like, they don't have it easy. They don't. They got haters. Politicians either. I mean, some of them are real douche nozzles, scum. And that's how they even get where they are. But, when an outsider comes in, the system just wants to, like, eat them up. But I'm made for this, so I don't care. Like, literally made for this over a lifetime. Before I was born, I'm certain. But that's become pretty obvious by my photographs, I think. But anyway, I am good. I am good. God is pissed. It's important to pray. You can pray to God as a friend. Just talk to him. You can yell. They say make a joyful noise to the Lord, but he doesn't care if you yell and bitch, tell him how much things piss you off, how pissed off you are. Just that you're putting your awareness to your Creator, and like you can, it says in the Bible you cannot petition the Lord with prayer. Yeah, right. So you're gonna petition the church. Try going to the, go to a church and say you're hungry. Go to a church and say you don't have a home. They won't help you. But don't petition the Lord with prayer. Don't petition God directly. Go to the church. Yeah, right. And like any other religion's any better. Give me a break. We're in America. I was raised a Christian, so that's where most of my context was from. But if you watch my video about paranormal photography, I get into more detail. And I'm going to have to repeat myself over and over again in videos until you guys know who I am. I'm Ningish Zeta Yeshua, Thoth the Atlantean.